Hi, boys and girls, it's Sally. I'm missing you lots. It's rubbish that we have to stay at home again, but at least this time we know it's only for a little while and we'll be back in nursery and back to normal next week. So, while we are at home, I thought I would make you a little video, something to do while we're off. In nursery, a lot of you have been doing a story with me. I wonder if you can remember it. It's got a boy in it called Jack, a giant, and a hen that lays golden eggs. Do you remember what it's called? I'll give you a hand. It's called Jack and the Beanstalk. We've loved acting this story out using the little character props, haven't we? But we've never had the actual story in the nursery, so I went and got it, and I got it delivered to the house, and I'm going to bring it for us all to read next week. But before then, I thought I would read it to you right now so that we could remember what we've been talking about. Let's get started. Jack and the Beanstalk. There's little Jack there. I wonder if you remember what happens. Let's see. Jack and his mum were so poor that they never had enough to eat. One morning, they had no food at all left. Uh-oh, there's nothing worse than being hungry. "You'll have to take the cow to market and sell her," said Jack's mum. On the way to the market, Jack bumped into this strange little guy, and he said, "I will give you these for your cow." And in his hand, he had five tiny, wrinkly little beans. "I need money, not beans," said Jack. Do you remember what Jack does? Let's see. "Ah," said the funny little man, "but these are magic beans." He said, "If you plant them, they will grow into a beanstalk so tall that it touches the sky." "Amazing," said Jack. He gave his cow to the little man, and he took the beans and he ran all the way home. Uh-oh, what do you think Mum's going to say? Let's find out. When he got home, he was in big trouble, and his mum is saying to him, "What have you done?" "Jack, we need money, not beans," said his mum, and she threw them out the window. So they've got no cow and no money. Let's see what happens next. Poor Jack went to bed hungrier and gloomier than ever. Gloomier means all sad and dark. What were they going to do? Poor Jack with his cat. In the morning, even his room seemed gloomier. His room seemed gloomier. Just a minute. Can you see what's happened? He's looking outside his bedroom window. What do you see in there? Ready? Outside his window was a giant beanstalk so tall it touched the sky. What is our friend Jack going to do next? I think I can remember. Do you remember? He climbs it, doesn't he? That windy, bendy, wiggly beanstalk. The little man was right, thought Jack. He scrambled onto the giant beanstalk and climbed up, 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 up. And there, at the very top, he found a giant castle, and out in front of it was a giantess. It's a giant lady. Jack gulped. Then his tummy rumbled. "Excuse me," he called. "Please, could you spare some breakfast?" Poor Jack is starving, isn't he? And he's done all that climbing. The giantess picked him up. "My husband munchies and crunchies little people like you." I'll give you breakfast, but you better go home before my husband gets home. Uh-oh, poor Jack. She whisked Jack inside and set him down next to an enormous crusty loaf. Look at all that bread he's going to eat. Breakfast had never tasted so good. Yum, yum. Look at that lovely bit of cheese and grapes. But then, stomp, stomp, stomp. Quickly, said the giant lady. Hide in here. She stuffed Jack into a pot just as the giant strode into the kitchen. Uh-oh. Now he's a bit scary. Do you want to see him? Here he is. Do you remember what this giant says? If you remember, you say it with me, okay? He says, Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread. Look at Jack. How must he be feeling? Very scared and worried, I think. Where is he? Demanded the giant, and he started to search. He looked everywhere. Uh-oh, I hope he doesn't look in there. You're imagining things, said his wife. Eat up your breakfast while I bring in the hen. Here's the hen. Do you remember this? The hen is a bit special, isn't it, boys and girls? Let's see what makes it so special. She returned with the hen and put it on the table. Lay, commanded the giant. Clink! The bird laid a gleaming golden egg. With a grunt, the giant closed his eyes and began to snore. The giantess lifted Jack out of the pot. Run for your life, she whispered to him. But Jack had his eyes on that hen that lays the golden eggs. What's he going to do? Don't do anything silly, Jack. He grabbed the hen and fled for the door, but the bird, of course, let out a squawk, buck, 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 which woke up the sleeping giant, who saw Jack and let out a furious roar. Jack dived out of the door and onto the beanstalk with the giant hot on his heels. Quick, Jack, quick! Jack scrambled down the beanstalk as fast as his legs would carry him. He's going all the way down, but look, whose big foot is this? Oh, Jack, be careful. What's going on? Shrieked Jack's mother from below. Is that a giant? Just bring the axes, shouts Jack. Jack and his mum at the bottom of the beanstalk start chopping away. It creaked and it wobbled and then it toppled over sideways. The giant was flung far over the hills and they never saw him again. Good news. As for Jack and his mother, they live in a lovely new house and they lived happily ever after. Each morning, the special little hen laid a golden egg so that they grew richer and richer. And Jack never ever climbed a beanstalk ever again, which I think is very, very wise. Did you remember the story, boys and girls? I wonder if you could answer some questions about this story if I ask you them. You could write down the answers with your grown-up if you like. Question number 1. Who is he? What's his name? Can you remember? The answer is Jack. Question number 2. What did Jack have to try and sell at the market? Use your thinking skills. Try and remember. Did you get it right? he has to go and sell his cow. Moo! What does Jack get for selling his cow? It's not money, is it? What does he get? He gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 magic beans. How does the beanstalk grow? Where does it come from? Can you remember? It grows when Jack's mum throws the beans out the window. What does Jack steal from the giant palace? Can you remember what he stole? That naughty boy Jack stole the magic hen. What happened to the beanstalk when Jack climbed down? Can you remember what happened? Jack and his mum had to get the axes and chop it down. What happened to Jack and his mum at the end of the story? Do you remember what happened? Well, they were very rich, they lived happily ever after, and Jack never climbed a beanstalk ever again, which is a very good idea, I think. Do you agree? Anyway, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed this story of mine. I'll bring it in next week, and then you can all have a go at reading it and telling the story using the characters in nursery. Hope you've enjoyed this. I miss you very much. Stay safe and see you next week. Bye.